Welcome to this episode from the Natural Health Clinic, 10 ways to look 10 years younger. And that's all the things that I'm going to be sharing with you this evening to do just that. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about them right after this. Welcome back. I'm Labrin Allen, traditional naturopath, whole food expert, practicing here at the Natural Health Clinic. We have two locations, one in Houston, one in Victoria. So this evening we're going to be talking about the 10 ways to look 10 years younger. And of course, I don't want you to think that I'm saying you need to look 10 years younger. I'm just going to be sharing with you what I've done personally and what many of our clients have done personally to achieve that result. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing is something you've heard all the time: positive mental attitude, right? Don't you get tired of that? But nonetheless, it is very important. Just take a gander at different individuals, do a little experiment. You can kind of see through their facial muscles, through their lines, through the wrinkles on their face, what they might be feeling internally. Do they have a frown? Do they seem happy? Do they seem to laugh a lot? Do they have a sour expression? So what is occurring inside is actually displayed on our outside. So it's very important to have a good mental attitude. If it seems like you have experienced different things that make that difficult, here's one very simple thing, very simple experiment that I've tried and others have tried as well. See if you want to try it, what happens with you. Just in the first thing in the morning, for a few seconds, for a few moments, visualize that you're drinking a little bitty vial of liquid luck. Liquid luck. And maybe it's shimmering gold or whatever the case may be, and you drink that vial down and it just flows throughout your entire body, filling your body with this good fortune, with this positive feeling, with this feeling of well-being. Do that every single morning. It only takes a few moments, and just see how that changes not only the way you feel, but maybe the things that are happening around you. Just a good thing to experiment with. So, what do you tell yourself every morning? Many people might wake up and say, ugh, I don't feel like getting out of bed, I'm stiff, I'm sore. Well, you're actually programming cells to comply to the messages that you are giving them through what you're internally telling yourself. So just be very careful what you tell yourself and your self-talk, so to speak. Step number 2, sleep. We all know sleep is very important. It actually is almost mandatory for anti-aging, longevity, to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep. That is the optimal number of sleep we should get. Of course, it's very important to get that sleep without a sleeping pill, because a sleeping pill actually increases the risk of death. It lowers the immunity, which is completely opposite of what normal natural sleep does. Normal natural sleep actually helps to refresh our mind, our brain. It increases our immune system and just overall helps our cells to replenish, to regenerate, and restructure themselves. Very, very important. One thing that you can do to help your sleep is to eliminate all blue light for several hours before you go to bed. Several hours being at least 3 to 4 hours. Blue light comes from LCD televisions, it comes from your mobile devices, computer monitors, etc. So just eliminate that light, and that may very well help you, as it has many of our clients, to sleep better. Number 3, hydration. Now you may think that I'm talking about drinking more water, and maybe some people need to do that, but it's getting more and more common for people to drink quite a bit of water, because it's common knowledge now that you need to hydrate well. Well, the problem is that you can actually hydrate too much. You can actually be drinking so much water that you begin to eliminate minerals that your cells need in order to be healthy, in order to have antioxidizing capabilities, so forth. So make sure that you're not really drinking unless you're sweating profusely, exercise, or whatever the case may be, just South Texas heat if you live in that location. Make sure that you're drinking at least half of your optimal body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, drink 100 ounces of water a day. Not over that unless you're sweating a lot. What is at least as important as the amount of water that you're drinking is that you're also getting the proper minerals that your cells need to draw that hydration through the cell membrane internally. That's how your body actually utilizes the fluid that you're drinking. Otherwise, it really can't use it. In fact, you may become bloated or feel like that you have some form of edema, and you may. So minerals are extremely important, believe it or not, even though it's oftentimes, especially in the medical community, thought of as almost a bad word. Sodium is exceptionally important for drawing that hydration through the cell membrane into the cell. So sodium is important, especially the more you sweat, such as if you're exercising or even the Texas summers. It's extremely important to get adequate amounts of sodium in your diet, and especially within your cells. It's also interesting, speaking further about hydration, that when we are born, our body is actually made up of at least 90% water. And when we die, it's 75% or lower. So we lose hydration as we age. And that is actually one reason for lines and wrinkles, is that there simply is not enough fluid, not in the tissue, but within the cells of the face or the body or whatever the case may be. So it just goes to show how important hydration is. And number 4, the fourth way is foods for cell function. Fats are probably the most important. And you need to get your fats from nature. So even though it's coming out, from the American Heart Association and all these different kinds of memes on Facebook, you've probably seen that coconut oil is horrible. That is a completely natural fat. It has medium fatty acid chains that are excellent. I highly recommend that you do use that oil, along with butters and, of course, olive oils. Fish oils are good, nut oils. Basically all kinds of oils. You need the complete plethora of them. So even oils from animals, those are natural fats. They're not synthetic. Now, on the flip side of that, canola oil is not a natural oil. It's modified from rapeseed. It's actually, canola stands for Canadian oil, because that's where it was first created, manufactured. So that is not, even though it's touted as a very healthy oil, it is not a natural oil. So that I really don't recommend. Along with many vegetable oils, they become highly processed. In fact, you could just call them industrial fats by the time it makes it to your home. Those oils are are something to stay away from. Of course, trans fats, etc. Veggies are the second most important food for cell function. Probably cruciferous is one of the most important foods within that category. Cruciferous are going to be like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbages, things like that. Very, very important. Fermented foods can be helpful as well. Fermented cabbages and so forth. And of course, exercise. We all hear about exercise, but the thing is that not all exercise is equal. And it's very important that you are exercising according to your own biochemistry and physiology. So, even though you may think aerobic exercise is good for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is. You may actually need more weight-bearing exercise, or maybe you need, a form of stretching exercise or something like that. That is one thing that we actually find out for our clients, is what type of exercise that they need and is most beneficial for them. And it really is different for everyone. I will tell you that many times aerobic types of exercises are not the best for longevity. The other thing about exercise is that it needs to be something that is sustainable. It needs to be something that you will do for a lifetime, not a lot for a month or 3 months, but maybe a little bit for 50, 60, 70, 80 years. So you also need to think about exercise in that way. When you do that, you might think about things that you enjoy doing: cycling, playing tennis, maybe golfing, not taking the golf cart, but walking the 9 or 18 holes. Dancing, maybe a form of martial arts, or even playing basketball. Different kinds of things can serve as exercise, and they become sustainable because it's something that you enjoy. So that's another way that you can think, and really should think as well. Exercise, the movement helps the lymphatic system. That's a key element to why exercise can be so important, because the lymphatic system cleanses the toxins within our body. As well as when we exercise, of course, we sweat. That's another form of detoxification. And additionally, exercise can also lower hormones that tend to be oxidizing. Our glands can actually release hormones, especially when we get under a large amount of stress or when we're eating processed diets, the typical American diet. Then our body is forced to release these hormones that tend to further oxidize and break down cells and aggressively age us. So very important. Detoxification, we hear a lot about detoxification, right? Well, the best way to detoxify is number one, to stop ingesting toxins. In fact, if you do all kinds of cleanses, but yet you're still ingesting toxins, then how effective is your cleanse really? And I will tell you, excuse me, excuse me, I will tell you that most people really fall short when they as far as the detoxification plan, because they're not eliminating toxins from their daily life. So eliminate toxicity from your food, from the water you're drinking. Have a purification system in your home, and a Brita filter is not good enough. Eliminate all the toxicity from your toiletry items. That's one of the primary ways to get toxins, along with cleaning supplies, clothing, and laundry detergents, air fresheners, all kinds of things, cosmetics. I mean, it's horrible the amount of toxicity that people really paste all over themselves. Get air filters, air filter units that cleanse the air, at least in your bedrooms, for yourself, for your family, so that you can cleanse the air at least 8 hours a day while you're sleeping. As far as organs, a very important organ in keeping our bodies looking young and youthful and feeling that way as well as the liver. It's very interesting. People who have bloating, or distended abdomen. What's very interesting when physicians do ultrasounds is that they oftentimes find that they have fatty liver. They may even have fatty liver disease, and they're not alcoholics. That's the most common, I should say in the past, it was the most common reason for fatty livers, but now it's extremely common, and it's just because of everything that we already mentioned as far as diet and the amount of toxicity that people are voluntarily, willingly applying to themselves through the food, water, and air. And number 8, the 8th way is hormone balance. A very easy and powerful way of thinking of hormones is that hormones are drugs for the body. They really are. And just as certain drugs can help you feel better, feel good, they can also destroy your body, even kill you. So that's how powerful your hormonal system is, and the need for it to be balanced. If you're having foggy brain, you're having weight gain, that can very oftentimes show a functional thyroid disorder. Doesn't mean it's pathological. Your blood panels may still be fine, but functionally it's not at 100%. It may be 95% or 90%, or whatever the case. It's just not functioning to the point that it allows you to have a real clear, focused mind and be able to lose weight easily. Adrenals, if you start getting this huge waistline, if you start gaining weight, these love handles, that sort of thing, that oftentimes shows that you have adrenal dysfunction. If you tend to get emotional quite easily, that can also show that you have at least adrenal weakness, adrenal insufficiency. And lower sex hormones, do you get up in the morning and feel achy? That can also, and very often, indicate lower sex hormones. Along with just low drive, low motivation to do things, and a low sense of well-being. Our balanced sex hormones, no matter what age we are, helps us to have a real strong sense of well-being when they are balanced. And also pregnenolone. Many people haven't even heard of pregnenolone. It is extremely important for memory. So if you're finding yourself having short-term memory issues, that can sometimes be a sign of lower pregnenolone levels. And hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid, one of the things that does several things, but in looking younger. It helps to kind of plump the skin, and where you can find that in a natural source most frequently and in higher concentrations is in bone broth. So if nothing else, you can consume bone broth as long as you're not having any sensitivity to it. Some people can't do it all the time. But bone broth can be very, very helpful in plumping up the skin. It also gives you collagen and different nutrients that are, in addition to the hyaluronic acid, very beneficial for aging and anti-aging, helping you to look younger. And then finally, the 10th step are powerful antioxidants. So things like milk thistle, green tea extract, resveratrol, turmeric, what else? Grapeseed extract, rosemary. Those things are very antioxidant in nature. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's anti-oxidation. Now, in our clinic, we do a very important test that actually tests for the amount of oxidation that a person has. The reason for that is we want to see how quickly their body is breaking down. Is it at a normal level? Is it accelerated? Or is it even less, which is what we really want, or very slow degeneration aging process than what we would expect for the person's age. So it's based upon a person's age. You know, if someone is 30, then they at most should have the oxidation level of their 30s, not 50s, 60s, or 70s, which is most frequently what I see, frankly. But if they're 30 years old and they have the oxidation level of someone who's 18, that's even better. So those kinds of things, those nutrients that I just mentioned, can be very helpful as antioxidants to help that lower oxidation quotient. Now, the two most powerful things that I'm aware of and that I sometimes recommend to my patients are something called phytorad. So that means plant-based anti-radicals. So think of things that tend to oxidize the cells as free radicals, all right? And so phytorad has a lot of those things that I just mentioned, actually a whole complex of those things that I mentioned to help reduce oxidation levels. Another one that's quite powerful, very effective, is called Vitanox. These are things that I use in the clinic, and you can actually see through objective testing if they are effective or not. Now, knowing which one is best for a person, that's the other forms of testing that we do in the clinic, because you know they are not inexpensive, and you want to know exactly which one will be effective. They have slightly different amounts and complexes within them, and depending on your biochemistry, physiology, and what's happening, your entire medical picture is dependent on what your body may or may not need. All right, let me go ahead and go to our Facebook page here and see. I'm going to refresh it. Hold on one second. Here we go. Yeah, I was having technical difficulties, so unfortunately not as many people are able to watch it as possible. If there are no questions, that's pretty much going to conclude it. Now, if you're interested in having a customized plan based upon what may be occurring to you as far as the different health challenges that you're facing or what your health goals are, then I invite you to an initial consultation. Initial consultation is designed to create what we call a total health restoration program, totally 100% customized to you and what both your needs are and your goals are. So an initial consultation, it takes set aside 2 hours of your day for that because it takes a significant amount of time. We do an entire workup on you. We need to know what medications and surgeries you've had, what nutritional supplements you're taking. Then we do what's called a symptom survey. We do a body composition, so we're getting all kinds of baselines. And we also do that oxidation test so that we have a baseline of the amount of oxidation within your body and then know what happens as you go through our total health restoration program. Finally, we do a nutritional exam, find out exactly what organs, glands are less than optimally functioning. And then from all of that information, we create a plan, specifically step by step, what you need to do to attain your health goals. Typically, that initial consultation is $249. If you're referred to us through one of our patients, we're a referral-only type of clinic, then we reduce that by $100, and so you get a $149 initial consultation. However, I'm willing to extend to those who are watching this presentation that if you respond by the date that I will post in just a moment, to this video. If you respond by that date and you make an appointment, you can do this all online, and all the links for you to do that will be also posted along with this offer. If you do that by the date, then you can get an initial consultation, all of the things that I just mentioned, for only $62. I mean, that's next to nothing. It's $187 off of our regular price. So I highly recommend you take advantage of that. If the idea of having a completely customized step-by-step program where we help you and we guide you so that you are assured of being able to reach your goals, if that sounds like something you're interested in, then I really invite you to take advantage of it. Again, I will post all of that information, both the expiration date and all of the links that you need in order to take advantage of that offer. So let me look one more time, and there are no questions. Okay, so hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope that this information you will find helpful, and you can look 10 years younger than you do at this moment. Enjoyed it. You guys have a great evening.